Manatee presentation here at the Miami Seaquarium. My name is Connor, and I'll be teaching you a little bit more about the animals we have here today. Now, I'm joined with 3 Florida manatees, which are also known as the West Indian manatee. And there are several other species of manatee found out in the wild, including a species known as the dugong. But for these individuals here, there's only 6,000 of their kind left out into the wild, but they have no natural predators, with the biggest threat to their survival being mankind. So these man-related threats include boat strike injuries, entrapment in floodgates, entanglement in foreign debris, and habitat loss. But more recently, these creatures have been facing other issues with extreme temperatures and red tide. Manatees can suffer from a condition known as cold stress when exposed to cold water for long durations, in which cold water can decrease circulation to their extremities and can ultimately prove to have organ failure. Now, the red tide is a higher than normal concentration of harmful algae that produces toxic chemicals that can inhibit the respiratory nervous system and can ultimately prove to be fatal. But as for these guys, are found throughout the Caribbean, on both coasts of Florida, and they're found in migrating as far north as New Jersey and as far west as Texas. However, they like to stay further south where the water is a bit warmer. They're found in a variety of different habitats, including ocean, bay, estuaries, rivers, lagoons, and of course, intercoastal waterways. Now, the 2 pools you guys see here are both saltwater pools. However, they can live in saltwater, freshwater, or a combination of the 2 known as brackish water. Now, these manatees been on this planet for over 50 million years, and their closest living related relative is the elephant. In fact, their gestation period, lifespan, skin color, and texture are all similar to that of an elephant. If you guys were to take a look at their front flippers, they have 3 to 4 white toenails that are similar to that found on an elephant's hoof. And like elephants, you and I, these guys are mammals, which means they need to breathe air in order to survive. They can hold their breath for up to 20 minutes at a time, but they typically come up every 3 to 5 minutes for a breath of air. Now, there's 2 characteristics that separate manatees from all other marine mammals. First, being seen that they can see in color. They can see in shades of blue, green, and gray. They're also entirely vegetarian, which means they are herbivores. So out in the wild, they're eating a wide assortment of aquatic vegetation, including seagrass. But here at the Miami Seaquarium, we provide them a high-calorie diet consisting of broccoli, lettuce, sweet potatoes, carrots, and other assortments of fruits and vegetables. We also supplement their diet with a high-protein biscuit known as monkey chow, and we also provide them their necessary vitamins. This is all to help them recover best from their injuries. Now, the Miami Seaquarium prides itself on being a very successful rescue and rehabilitation facility for manatees and sea turtles alike, and with the only critical care facility here in South Florida that looks after critically wounded manatees. Now, we'd like to see as many of these guys released right back out into the wild as possible, but we understand some of them might not quite meet the qualifications for a re-release. So that said, we'll take care of them for as long as necessary, or transfer them to another facility which they can do the same. Now, the first manatee I'd like to bring the focus to today is right there on top is Juliet. Juliet has been with us here since 1958 after she was rescued from a boat strike injury in the Miami River. She was about 5 years old at the time, so that makes her well over 65 years old. Now, Manatees can live up to an age of estimated about 80 years of age. However, most outlaw dogs typically live past the age of 20 or 30. Now, Juliet has had a very successful career here at the Miami Seaquarium, and at 11 feet long and 3,000 pounds, she has raised up to 16 orphan calves in the wild and has even raised 9 calves of her own. She can do this due to her ability to spontaneously lactate, which means she can produce milk for offspring even if she does not have any of her own at the moment. Now, unfortunately, due to her size, her age, and just how long she's been under human care, she will not be released back out to wild, but will instead remain here as an ambassador for her species. Now, just right next to her is our next manatee, Clarity. Clarity was rescued from the Crystal River in 2009 after a boat striking injury, where the whole of the head fractured several of her vertebrae. You can see a scar down her back and a little divot in her spine, which the bolt had fractured her. Now, she has since recovered from these injuries, however, not to the extent that we would have liked. In the case that if she was re-released back in the wild, there's always a possibility that she could become paralyzed if she was hit by another boat or she engaged in something as simple as a mating activity. So, that said, she'll also remain here as an ambassador for her species and is often seen swimming between these two pools here and doing beautiful barrel rolls. Now, our last manatee I'd like to talk about today is right there on the bottom, is our youngest, is Camley. Camley has been with us here since 2019, however, she's been rescued 3 different times. She was first rescued by Zoo Tampa in the Tampa Bay area as an orphan calf in 2015. She was found a few short years later by SeaWorld for cold stress and malnourishment, and was found once more by Zoo Tampa in 2019 and was brought to us here at Miami Seaquarium after she was also suffering from symptoms of cold stress and malnourishment. While here, she's offered 2 saltwater pools and fresh seagrass in the bay. Now, we're hoping to have her released real soon here, but when she is released, she'll be retrofitted with a satellite tag as displayed by the back of her exhibit over here, which is monitored by the Manatee Rehabilitation Partnership. Now, this satellite tag will attach to the back of their paddle and will act as a flotation device to the surface of the water. That way, it will offer easy visibility and connection. Now, the Miami Seaquarium is one of 17 organizations that take part in this partnership in order to rehabilitate and monitor re-released manatees out into the wild. Now, if you guys would like to learn more, you can always go to manateerescue.org, or if you guys would like to, you can always make a donation in the donation box below, where 100% of proceeds do go back to tracking these manatees out in the wild. Now, there's several state laws protecting these animals since they are a threatened species. First of which being is protecting anything against harassment of these organisms, where harassment means anything inhibiting their natural behaviors. So this means we do not want to swim with them, pet them, offer them a water hose, or anything that will entice them to come closer to boats. Now, not doing so could be up to a year to a $50,000 fine, so let's just make sure these guys are nice and safe out in the wild. And there's several things you guys can actually do to make sure these guys are nice and safe. First of which means if you're visiting the residential areas, make sure their water is clean of any foreign debris, especially fish debris that they may accidentally consume or become entangled in. Second which means is if you guys are boat owners, make sure you're taking it nice and slow to the residential areas, abiding by posted speed limit laws. Make sure these guys have plenty of time to move out of the way. They are slow-moving animals. And last which being is just educate those around you about these magnificent creatures, and hopefully we can learn a little bit more about them and offer better conservation practices in the near future. Now, that does conclude our presentation today. With you guys, like to take a look down below. We do have underwater view windows. Or if you guys have any questions, my name is Connor, and feel free to come by and ask. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day right here at the Miami Seaquarium. Thanks, everybody.